Mana's Redemption. Now, some of you might hear that title and think of the classic novel, and you'd be right, but this is a very different take. This film transposes the story to modern-day, economically struggling rural America, and it does so with a raw, unflinching honesty that really got under my skin, in a good way. It's about a man named Silas, a former factory worker who's become a recluse after losing his job and then his life savings. He's bitter, he's isolated, and the film doesn't shy away from showing the harsh realities of his existence and the desperation within his forgotten community. It's a tough watch at times, but it's incredibly powerful. The real heart of Silas Mana's redemption, and why it's a must-watch, comes when an abandoned child unexpectedly enters Silas's life. This event forces him to confront not only his own deep-seated bitterness, but also the complex social dynamics of the town around him. The plot explores themes of loss, community, and the unexpected paths to finding purpose when all seems lost. It's a character study, first and foremost anchored by a phenomenal lead performance that I'll touch on later, but the narrative itself is so compelling because it feels incredibly timely and human. It's a story that reminds us that redemption can be found in the most unexpected places, and that human connection is vital, especially when society seems to have left you behind. It's a slow burn, but the emotional payoff is immense. Coming in at number 9, we have a film I've been eagerly anticipating, The Kronos Protocol. This is a science fiction thriller, and what immediately jumps out is the talent involved. It stars the legendary Sir Jonathan Pryce, an actor who just commands the screen every time he's on it, and he's paired with the incredibly talented rising star Maya Allister. You might remember her from a few breakout indie roles last year. Behind the camera is Evelyn Reed, who previously directed Quantum Echo, a film I absolutely loved for its intelligent approach to sci-fi. So with this combination of talent, my expectations were already pretty high, and I'm happy to report they were largely met. The Kronos Protocol centers on Pryce's character, a disgraced physicist who stumbles upon a clandestine government project with the terrifying ability to manipulate time. Alistair plays a tenacious young journalist who helps him uncover the conspiracy, and together they find themselves in a race against, well, time itself to prevent a potential global catastrophe. What makes this a must-watch isn't just the high-stakes plot, which is undeniably gripping, but the dynamic between Pryce and Alistair. Their performances elevate the material, bringing a real sense of urgency and humanity to the complex scientific concepts. Evelyn Reed's direction is also top-notch, creating a sleek, tense atmosphere that keeps you on the edge of your seat without relying solely on spectacle. It's smart sci-fi, and that's always a win in my book. At number 8, we have something a little different, a film called Graveshift. This one falls into the horror genre, but it's not your typical jump scare fest. It's more of a supernatural procedural, which is a blend I find fascinating when done right. Imagine a detective show, but the cases they're investigating have a distinctly otherworldly and often terrifying origin. The film builds its atmosphere slowly, focusing on a sense of creeping dread and unease, rather than cheap shocks. It's the kind of horror that sticks with you, making you think about what's lurking just out of sight. The cases are bizarre, unsettling, and genuinely creative. The unique element that really sets Graveshift apart and makes it a must-watch for genre fans is the concept of the graveshift itself. In the film's lore, this is a specific period, usually in the dead of night, where the veil between our world and whatever lies beyond is at its thinnest. This is when the most inexplicable and disturbing events occur, tasking a specialized unit of investigators with piecing together clues that defy rational explanation. The film does an excellent job of world-building around this concept, making it feel believable within its own spooky context. It's a fresh take on supernatural horror, prioritizing intelligent storytelling and atmospheric tension over gore, and I think it's going to find a dedicated audience. Our number 7 pick is The Gilded Cage, and this is one that's already stirring up quite a bit of awards season buzz. It's a lavish period drama, set in the roaring 1920s in New York City, a time of immense wealth, cultural upheaval, and as this film explores dark secrets hidden beneath a glittering surface. The story follows a young woman who marries into an incredibly powerful and affluent family, only to discover the corruption and moral decay that underpins their empire. It's a classic setup, but the execution here is reportedly exquisite, with meticulous attention to period detail in costume, set design, and the overall atmosphere of jazz-age opulence. What makes The Gilded Cage a particularly compelling must-watch this January, beyond its intriguing premise, is the critical acclaim it's already garnered from early festival screenings. I'm hearing whispers of it being a strong contender for multiple awards. It was a Sundance selection, and there's talk of early Golden Globe nominations for its performances and direction. When a film arrives with this kind of pedigree and positive early reception, it's usually a sign that there's something special there. It promises not just a visually stunning experience, but also a complex narrative with potentially powerful performances, exploring themes of ambition, morality, and the price of luxury. For fans of sophisticated drama, this looks like a major treat. Sliding into the number 6 spot is an indie science fiction adventure called Nomad Sky. This is this kind of film that reminds you of the sheer creativity and passion that can exist outside the big studio system. The plot follows a lone scavenger surviving on a harsh desert planet. Her solitary existence is upended when she discovers an ancient alien map, one that supposedly leads to a legendary oasis, a place of myth on her barren world. It's a quest narrative at its core, but it's imbued with a sense of wonder and a really interesting visual style that belies its independent roots. What really makes Nomad Sky a must-watch, and something I love to highlight, are the fascinating behind-the-scenes stories and trivia associated with its production. This film was famously made on a shoestring budget, relying heavily on innovative practical effects and utilizing the stark, beautiful landscapes of Namibia as its primary shooting location. The director and the lead actress reportedly lived in quite harsh conditions for months to truly immerse themselves in the world and capture an unparalleled sense of authenticity. And get this, the lead actress learned an entirely fictional alien language developed by a professional linguist, specifically for the movie. That level of dedication to world building in an indie film is just incredible and deserves to be seen and supported. At number 5 we have Heartwood, a film that's been quietly gathering acclaim and touching hearts. This is a character-driven drama, the kind of movie that doesn't rely on spectacle but instead on profound human emotion and beautifully understated storytelling. It tells the story of an elderly carpenter who, after receiving a difficult late-life diagnosis, decides to channel his remaining time and energy into building one final masterpiece. This endeavor becomes more than just a project. It's a way for him to leave a legacy and, crucially, an opportunity to reconnect with his estranged daughter, a relationship that has been fractured for years. Heartwood is a must-watch because of the incredible way it's resonating with both critics and audiences alike. Critics are heaping praise on its emotional depth, its gentle pacing, and the truly moving, nuanced performances from its cast. I've seen it described as certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with a very high score, and audience scores on platforms like Letterboxd are equally enthusiastic. People are connecting with its heartfelt message about family, regret, forgiveness, and the importance of finding meaning in one's work and relationships. It's the kind of film that might make you shed a tear or two, but in a cathartic, uplifting way. It's a beautiful, poignant piece of cinema. Our number 4 film this January is Project Chimera, and this one is for all you action junkies out there. This is a high-octane, effects-driven thrill ride that promises some truly groundbreaking visuals. The premise is pretty wild. A rogue geneticist operating outside the bounds of ethics and law succeeds in creating hybrid animal-human soldiers, the Chimeras. As you can imagine, these creations are incredibly dangerous, and it falls to an ex-Special Forces operative who has his own complicated past to track them down and stop the geneticist's catastrophic plans before they spiral completely out of control. The main reason Project Chimera lands so high on this list and is a must-watch is its sheer ambition in the visual department, particularly its visual effects and cinematography. From what I've seen in the trailers and promotional material, the CGI used to bring these hybrid creatures to life looks absolutely incredible. Detailed, believable, and genuinely menacing. This is paired with what promises to be some very dynamic and kinetic cinematography, handled by a director of photography known for their work on some fantastic action sequences in other films. They're also emphasizing a significant amount of practical stunt work, which is always great to see. Seamlessly blended with the VFX, it looks like a visceral, visually stunning experience. Breaking into our top 3 at number 3 is Midnight Serenade, a film that sounds incredibly stylish and unique. This is a neo-noir musical, which is a combination you don't see every day, and it's set in a rain-soaked, seemingly timeless city that practically drips with atmosphere. The story follows a down-on-his-luck jazz pianist, the kind of brooding protagonist you expect in a classic noir, who gets dangerously entangled with a mysterious, captivating singer, and inevitably a notorious crime lord who pulls the strings in the city's underworld. It's shaping up to be a very moody, very cool cinematic experience. The biggest draw for Midnight Serenade, and why I'm so excited for it, is its promise of an exceptional soundtrack and musical score. The film reportedly features an entirely original jazz score, composed by none other than the legendary Marcus Blue Note Johnson, a true icon in the jazz world. Beyond the score, there are several diegetic musical numbers, performed live by the cast within the narrative, which should add an incredible layer of authenticity and immersion. The music isn't just background, it's being described as almost a character in itself, driving the mood, heightening the tension, and echoing the character's inner turmoil. For anyone who appreciates a film where music is integral to the storytelling, this is an absolute must-watch. Our runner-up for must-watch movies in January 2025 at number 2 is The Lighthouse Keeper's Daughter. This is a psychological drama set in the stark, isolated beauty of the 19th century on a remote island. The story centers on the young adult daughter of a stoic and increasingly unsettling lighthouse keeper. As weeks turn into months, trapped by their isolation and the relentless rhythm of the sea and the light, she begins to suspect that her father is hiding a truly dark secret. The atmosphere of paranoia and claustrophobia is said to be palpable, as strange occurrences and her father's erratic behavior take their toll on her sanity. While the atmospheric setting and intriguing mystery are definite draws, the primary reason The Lighthouse Keeper's Daughter is a must-watch, and why it's generating so much buzz, is for its standout performances. In particular, the actress playing the daughter, let's call her Ilara Vance, is reportedly delivering an absolute tour de force. Critics who've seen it are raving about her ability to convey a compelling mix of growing paranoia, fierce resilience in the face of the unknown, and heartbreaking vulnerability. It sounds like one of those breakthrough roles that people will be talking about for a long time. Equally, the actor playing the enigmatic and potentially menacing father is also receiving high praise for his complex and chilling portrayal. This is shaping up to be an actor's showcase. And finally, my number one must-watch movie for January 2025 is First Light of Dawn. This film takes the top spot for a very specific reason. It feels like the perfect movie to experience as January draws to a close and we look ahead to the rest of the year. It's an uplifting ensemble dramedy, the kind of film that weaves together multiple storylines with skill and heart. It follows a diverse group of strangers in a small, charming town whose lives unexpectedly intersect over the course of 24 hours leading up to the town's beloved annual winter festival. Each character is at a crossroads seeking connection, a fresh start, or some form of personal resolution. What makes First Light of Dawn such an essential watch and a great way to cap off your January movie-going is its overwhelmingly hopeful and heartwarming tone. In a month that can sometimes feel a bit cold and bleak after the holidays, this film promises to be a ray of sunshine. It's about community, human connection, finding common ground even with those who seem different, and the possibility of new beginnings. The ensemble cast is reportedly fantastic, bringing warmth and relatability to their individual stories. It's the kind of movie that aims to leave you with a smile on your face and a renewed sense of optimism, making it an ideal cinematic experience to shake off any lingering January blues and step into February with a positive spirit. That's it for our